Hello everyone, welcome back. In this topic, you will study about the tips for face-to-face interviews. So, you are all set to charm the interviewers and are not leaving anything to chance. You have prepared for all the technical and HR questions and have also done all the pre-interview preparation thoroughly. But on the very day of your interview, you reach 30 minutes late to your interview and all your preparation goes into the drain. While you do all the other preparation for your interview, it is equally important that you pay attention to small details that matter in the terms of the overall impression that you make, and that is where interview etiquettes come into the picture. Let us first understand what is meant by interview etiquettes. Interview etiquettes refer to the codes of conduct that an individual must follow while appearing for interviews. They are not only restricted to reaching for the interview on time. In fact, they start even before the interview starts. They can be branched into 4 categories, which are before the interview, body language, during the interview, and after the interview. Let us see what are the different etiquettes that you should keep in mind while appearing for an interview. Let us start by understanding what are the etiquettes that you should follow before an interview. First etiquette that you should always follow is to sleep well on the night before your interview. Getting a good night's sleep is very important because when you are well rested, it helps you stay fresh and focused during the interview. Another important thing that you should definitely ensure is to dress professionally and comfortably for the interview. The boys can wear a light colored plain shirt and dark trousers with a plain buckle belt along with formal shoes. Girls can wear either a sari, salwar suit or business formals with formal sandals or shoes. Along with the attire, another important thing that you should pay attention to is your grooming. You should ensure that your hair and nails are prim and proper. Using a strong aftershave, perfume, or deodorant can be very distracting. So, please make sure you don't use any of these. Girls also should use very minimal makeup and ornaments. And the boys should shave, clean, or trim their mustache or beard as appropriate. Religious preference in these matters of course takes priority. Next important thing that you should ensure is to prepare a folder of all your essential documents. These documents shall include a few copies of your resume, college ID card if you are a fresher, transcripts, certificates, a pen, and a few blank sheets of paper. And last but not the least, always plan your journey to the interview venue in advance. What do we mean by that? Well, in case of on-campus hirings, the interviews usually happen at the campus itself. So, in this case, all you need to do is to reach the interview hall at your campus on time. But in case you have applied for internships or jobs off the campus, then you should always figure out the route to the place of interview and reach at least 30 minutes before the interview. This gives you enough time to settle in the environment, relax, and freshen up. You can check out the company's exact office address on their official website and check out the route on Google Maps. Always make sure that you add extra time to the route considering the traffic or any other transport issue. Now, when you have followed all the etiquettes before the interview thoroughly, it is time to continue doing so during the interview as well. The body language etiquettes come into place here. The body language etiquettes start as soon as you reach the interview venue. Always knock and ask for permission to enter the interview room. Make sure that you walk at a normal pace and comfortably and do not rush to your seat. Remember how we have been telling you that the first impression is the last impression? Well, we are sure that you followed that earlier. But it is equally important to follow the same when you meet the interviewer for the first time as well. You should always smile and greet them. You don't have to sport a wide grin, but a simple smile goes a long way in establishing the first contact and melting the ice a bit. Shake hands with the interviewer as a part of exchanging pleasantries. Always wait for the interviewer to offer his or her hand first and then respond to it. Make sure you offer your full palm and it is firm, but not bone crushing. Shake gently 2-3 times and release after the shake. Just like you maintain eye contact while speaking to your friends or acquaintances, please do the same during your interview as well. It is a strong sign of confidence and leaves a good impression about you on the interviewer. Once you greet the interviewer and settle down, make sure that you maintain a comfortable sitting posture. Please do not slouch or stoop on your seat and do not cross your legs. You can also use hand gestures to aid or reinforce the point you are making. This also reflects your confidence in the information that you are sharing with the employer and also gives them a chance to assess your communication skills. Always communicate with the interviewer in an even-toned, clear, and audible voice. Speak complete sentences and stress upon a word or a phrase only if you want to emphasize it. Please make sure that you neither mumble nor are too loud. Staring at the wall or the ceiling before or during your interview, biting your nails, scratching your head, tapping your legs or fingers, and pulling at the corner of your shirt are all signs of an underconfident person. You don't want to give that impression to the interviewer, right? So, please make sure you do not do any of these. Once the interview is over and it is time to leave the room, please get up gently, thank everyone with a smile, walk comfortably out, and close the door behind you gently. Now, let us learn about the etiquettes that you should follow during your interview. When your interview starts, make sure that you listen carefully and let the interviewer complete his or her sentence or question. This gives you time to understand the question well and answer it accordingly. Once you follow the previous point, it becomes easier to make the interview a two-way communication. When the interviewer asks you a question, do not just answer in a yes or no or nod your head. It does not give a good impression about you. For example, when asked, "Can you write well?" don't just say yes. Talk about various kinds of topics that you have written on. Understanding and thinking before you speak during the interview is very important. It is absolutely alright if you want to pause a little and take time before answering a question. Just say, "May I take a moment before I answer this?" whenever you want to pause a little before answering. As much as it is important to answer the questions correctly, it is equally important that you ask whenever a question is not clear to you, or if you could not hear it properly for the first time. But also listen to the interviewer carefully and make sure that this does not happen for every question. There may be times when you don't know the answer to some questions. In such cases, don't make up facts or answers just for the sake of it. If you do not know the answer to a question, just politely tell the interviewer, "I'm sorry, I do not know the answer to that." For your own knowledge, you can also ask the correct answer to that question from the employer at the end of your interview. The interviewer wants to know how well you would fit and work in a team. So, please make sure that you do not complain about a professor or a team member or your previous internship or job experience when they ask you to share about any of these. Asking questions to the interviewer about the company or the role when given an opportunity shows your interest to them in the role or the company. It is also a great opportunity to show off all the research that you have done on the company and the profile before the interview. So, make sure to grab that opportunity when you can. And lastly, apart from giving your best shot, it is equally important to enjoy the conversation without worrying too much about the results. Every interview can be a great learning experience which you can always use in your next experience. Another important etiquette that you can follow is something that you can do after the interview is over. That is, write a thank you email to the recruiting manager and ask for feedback. Very few people do this, but those who do are likely to stand out and be remembered by the interviewer. This may cement an interviewee's chances of getting selected. Doing so also demonstrates your interest in the internship or job to the employer. And finally, remember that everyone makes mistakes. Don't beat yourself up for saying something wrong or making a mistake during an interview. What is important is that you learn from it and apply it in your next interview. There is always a better opportunity ahead, and there is always room for improvement. Now, let us find out an interesting fact about face-to-face interviews. Did you know people seem to notice when you peek at your watch or phone in the middle of an interview? It conveys to them that you are not engaged in the conversation. Even having your phone in plain sight is disrespectful. You are anyway not going to reply to texts or take calls during an interview. So, might as well switch off your phone and put it away. Make sure the interviewer has your undivided attention. With this, we come to the end of this video. We hope you learned about the important etiquettes that you should follow during your interviews and will definitely keep them in mind while appearing for them.